Hello everybody, my name is Manny, and today I want to show you the changes that I made to my build, and also I want to showcase how I crafted my Ghastly Eye Jewels, because these are one of the main damage sources that I have in this build, and how I compared them to my current equipment to see if they are an improvement or not. Furthermore, I also prepared a video of a Shaper kill just as a showcase how this build is currently performing. I have also tried an Uber Shaper, but honestly he totally wrecked me. I think it's mostly because I'm lacking some cold resistance. My build is currently very at the limit resistance wise. I just have the 15% overcapped fire resistance. This is only for maps with the modifier that I'm cursed with elemental weakness. That's the only reason. If I am cursed with elemental weakness, I'm exactly at 75% fire resistance. But if we look at my cold resistance, it's only overcapped by 19. And the Uber Shaper balls, the blue ones and the yellow ones, both have a cold penetration of 40%. So if one of those hit me, I'm only at 54% resistance, and I think that is the reason why pretty much every attack from the Uber Shaper just one-shot me. And mechanically I'm not good enough to avoid everything, so I only got him to a second phase and then I ran out of portals. So with the last changes that I did, I sacrificed some defense for more damage. I saw in another video that the player was using the Ancient Skull, and at first I wasn't quite sure about this item because I didn't really know what the Whispers does. I only knew that my minions are no longer listening to me while they have the Whispers. But I looked it up in the wiki. Well, first of all, I copied the Ancient Skull in Path of Building, and it showed me 2.5 million DPS increase. At the time this was about 33% or something, and it was huge for me. I had never had a build with more than 10 million DPS, and with my current equipment I'm almost exactly at 10 million, so I wanted to get this for almost all cost, and I tried it out. So I just got it to work somehow, but what the Whispers in general does is whenever one of my minions deals a critical strike, they hear the Whispers for 5 seconds, and therefore they get, I think, 50% increased attack speed, and they also deal increased damage. And that's where the damage comes from. But in order to make use of this item, because one of the other things is, while they hear Whispers, they take a quite high amount of chaos damage, I had to respec a little bit. I specced out of the minion block nodes right here, and also the reduced mana cost of skills right here. Also the mastery here was unspecced, and these nodes right here. So I no longer have a third spectre. I lost some damage here and some minion defense here. I can somewhat feel this from time to time when there is a stronger encounter, maybe one of my zombies dies. And in the Uber Shaper fight, my Raging Spirits also died quite some time, especially when he does the beam that deals damage over time. If my minions were in front of him, then those minions would die, well, the Raging Spirits would die pretty fast. All my other minions survived it, but just the Raging Spirits I had to move to the side or behind him and resummon them, so they would survive on the other side. But these nodes right here give my minions chaos resistance, so while they hear the Whispers, they are not dying. I also have, one of my jewels has 10% chaos resistance to minions, yes, this one right here. So this helps as well. So with the damage loss right here, but the damage gain from the Ancient Skull, it was a net gain of maybe 2 million DPS. That's quite nice. But like I said, I lost some defense, and I even had to take this node, even though, let me just switch to Path of Building real quick to show you a little bit better. Like you can see here, I'm overcapped by 2% chance to block spell damage. So actually I would not need these 2% block to chance to block spell damage, but I do need the 6% resistances. So I'm 15% overcapped by fire for the elemental weakness mod on the maps. Because when I'm crafting maps, I would like to reduce the amount of modifiers that I have to reroll, just so crafting maps is less tedious. And at this point, honestly, I think that I personally, in solo self-found, cannot improve the build anymore. I do know a couple of things that I theoretically could get that would improve the build. Like I could get +1 to minion, +1 to spell, skill gems on the wand. That would improve the damage. I could get a +2 amulet. I could also get +1 intelligence skill gems on the chest armor, +1 minion skills on the shield, and each +1 to skills increases my damage by about 500,000, a little bit more, but about. So in theory I could get 2, 4, 5, 6 more levels, so about 3 million. I could also get some awakened gems in theory. If I look here, if I replace my minion damage with awakened minion damage, I would get about 900,000 damage more. The elemental focus almost 900,000 more, and the awakened multi-strike also almost 900,000 more. So maybe another 3 million, a little bit less. Then a little bit my jewels could also be improved. Let's say another million. So in theory there would be quite some room for improvement. Let's just say a rough estimate, maybe 4 to 5 million. Maybe 7 to 8 million. Let's just round it up to maybe I can double my DPS. But the chance of me doing this in solo damage with the amount I'm playing, I just don't see it happening. The awakened gems itself, they are dropping so rarely, and there are so many of those. The chance that you get exactly the ones that you need, well, the chance that I get exactly the ones that I need in solo self-found is pretty low. And the other thing regarding a shield, for example, a very good shield would be an item level 86 Shaper shield. Item level 86 because then I could roll tier 1 block, so I could roll up to 15% chance to block, and with this would be 4% more chance to block, so 4 alone because of the modifier. Then it would give me 37 on the shield, and due to the passive mastery, that gives me 1% block chance per 5% block to shield. If I go from 33 to 37, this would be 1% chance to block in addition. So I would be at 5 already. And if I go to Path of Building again and look at Bone Offering, at the moment I have it at level 21. And if you look here at my block chance, if I get another level to Bone Offering due to the +1 to all spell skill gems, maybe on the wand, then suddenly I would get 1% chance more to block. This would be overall 6% more then. And if I had 6% more, then I would not need to anoint Testudo on my amulet and could anoint something else that would be more beneficial. And there are some things on the skill tree that could help quite a lot. Maybe I could get some more defense down here, like this one, maximum resistances, some armor. I could get some reservation efficiency and efficiency of my non-curse auras, something like this. Or maybe I could just do something completely else. Maybe I could try to get some other items and then try to fit in some spell suppression. Then I could maybe anoint something like this. Another 12% chance to suppress spell damage. Or maybe I could path here and take some spell suppression down here to maybe reach the cap. This would also help for a fight like Uber Elder, for example. But in order for me to do this, I would basically have to get at least 5 or maybe even 6 specific affixes on my items, and I just don't see this happening for me in Solar Cell Font. Most of all because I personally do not know how to craft this item. If I would like a Shaper Shield with tier 1 block, then I would like percentage life recovered on block. I would like tier 1 life, tier 1 minion damage, and these are already the 4 minimum modifiers that I would need. Then the 5th one would probably be +1 to minion skills, and now I already am not quite sure which one of those are prefixes and what are suffixes. I would have to look it up. But if I would have a suffix left, then I would like to have some resistances there as well. Because currently I'm chaos resistance capped, but if I remove the fire and chaos resistance, then suddenly I have only plus fire resistance overcapped by 1%. So even elemental weakness would take me to a negative, and chaos resistance would not be blocked as well anymore. The other thing is that I could think of that I could maybe improve is some defenses in general. If I could get some more resistances maybe on a ring, or maybe a little bit better amulet with some more resistances, then maybe I would be tanky enough to beat Uber Elder. But for me to change my gloves, my boots to some dexterity base and maybe even my chest piece and get enough spell suppression to be 100% at 100%, and also maybe get the shield which I just described, or a wand like this but with the added lightning damage to spells and to the wand itself, replaced with +1 to spell skill gems and +1 to minion skill gems. I just don't see it happen. I would have no idea how I would even start crafting something like this. My initial thought of maybe fracturing one modifier on it. I have played so long already, and I finally got one fracturing orb and three shards, but I've used the Harbingers for almost all the time I played, and I'm already at 11 days and almost 1 hour again. So if this trend would continue, I would need about 44 days just to get 4 tries to fracture something. Then I would have to be lucky enough to hit the +1 to skills, and then I would need to be lucky enough to get another +1 to skills plus the damage, which could be through the essence, but also the attack speed, and I would need the free suffix to craft the trigger. And this is extremely rare. I looked it up in Craft of Exile, and I think it told me that I would need something like 2 million essences of fear, something like this. It's ridiculous. So with my limited knowledge about crafting, there is absolutely no chance. And that's basically where I'm at now. I also changed I removed the one flask right here. This one, the basalt flask. The 20% more armor did not really do much for me, because I have relatively low armor value at this character. And the taunt was really annoying in some situations, so I wanted to get rid of. And instead, right now I'm just using the Forbidden Taste because of the life recovered instant on use. So, and I also crafted used when adjacent flask is used. So whenever I use this life flask, then I will also be healed for 84% of my life. So basically, whenever I'm low, I just press my life flask and I'm at 100% life instantly. The 10% chance to suppress spell damage and phasing are not as important to me, so I did not improve the quality of this item. So the second effect, that I take 25% maximum life as chaos damage per second, does only last for 6 seconds and not for longer. From time to time it could be, well, it will be also used because this flask triggers right here, but from what I've tested so far, it has been always available whenever I needed to use a life flask so far. It could be a different situation sometimes, but so far it was working. And this chestplate, this is a Shaper influenced chestplate. I used it to get the +1 to level of socketed active skill gems, and to me, I think I was extremely lucky to get even this chestplate, even though it could be much better. But I used the essences that give chaos resistance, these ones right here, the essences of envy, to get the, well, I used it for as long until I got the +1 to socketed active skill gems. And originally there were 4 modifiers on it: the +1 to level, then the chaos resistance, then a very low roll of life, I think maybe 30 or 40 to life, and a very low roll of strength. I think it was maybe 10 or 15 strength. I think these were the rolls. I had this chestplate for a really long time already, but I didn't really know if I really wanted to craft on it. But at some point I just thought, well, why not, and used an Orb of Annulment. I hit the life, then I thought, okay, just try it again, and I hit the strength, so the 2 worthless modifiers were gone. And then I crafted can have 3 modifiers crafts. But what I learned here is, I thought I could just craft the 3 modifiers on it, and then 2 modifiers that I would like to have: the life and the % increased life and mana. And if I rolled low life, then I could just re-roll life. That was my assumption. But if you look at it, I can't re-roll life. It says that I have no space for mods. So what I would have to do is I would have to remove the crafted mods, all crafted mods, including the can have up to 3 crafted modifiers, and then start from the beginning. So if I would use this, then all 3 of my crafted mods would be gone, and then I would have to spend 2 more Divine Orbs to try again, and that was a little bit too expensive to me. Overall, I crafted it twice, so I spent 4 Divine Orbs on it. But for me in solo self-found, my number of Divine Orbs is limited. I still have 11 left, yes, so in theory I could try 5 more times. But for me the risk to get even a worse roll was too high, so I didn't try it again. And I also just to show you how at the limit I am at with my stats and resistances, I also had to use the 10 catalysts that I had to increase the quality of attribute modifiers, just so I would have the minimum strength required to use all my gear and gems again. Because with the one of my other equipment slots that I changed, I think the helmet or something, some slot had some strength on it, or no, it was with the respec. Previously I had taken these two nodes right here, 2 times strength, and now, and this, okay, these 3, so 3 strength nodes, and a respect to 2 intelligence and 1 strength node. And this strength node down here I just moved up here. So I gave up 20 strength to gain 20 life, so I could take this +1 to power charge for only 1 skill point. Otherwise I would have to take this one and then the overcharge. And what the power charge does is it increases the critical strike chance of my minions by 50% because of the second to last line of the ancient skull. This was quite a nice damage increase as well, but that's because I lost these 20 strength, I had to use the catalysts here. And I think that's basically all that I changed. So if we look back at the path of building, in theory the damage looks much better. If I look at the items, here is the helmet that I had before. If you look at the bottom, at the last line of the tooltip, it shows minus 2.531 million full DPS. So I would lose almost a quarter, I would lose 25% by changing my ancient skull back to this helmet. My defenses would be a little bit better, and I would have the mana reservation efficiency, so I could use other skills as well. Because I didn't even mention that, I switched to Vitality instead of Clarity. I was also thinking about Precision. It would be a little bit more damage. Vitality gives me 100,000 because of my Necromancer passive, the increased attack and cast speed. And Precision would give me instead 500,000, so it would be a net plus of 400,000. But at this point I am preferring the life regeneration. I am able to level it up to level 19. Then I have 3 mana left. And my life regeneration is currently at 813. And if I remove this, it would go down to 520. So it's nice to have. It's not as big of a deal, but it's a little bit nice to have the life regeneration. And the other ones are the same. And I am able to reserve all my mana now because I needed the skill points to go all the way up here to get the chaos resistance for my minions. Also replace this one jewel socket up here. It only takes me 2 passives here. It would take me 3 passives here. And I had to spec out of these mana reservation nodes as well, so I can afford all these points. And without the mana reservation, it felt really clunky. I tried out with Clarity. I had a very low mana pool, but the mana regeneration was good. But with the higher mana costs, it didn't feel good. I sometimes had no mana to curse the enemy then, and it felt really clunky. I didn't like it. So my solution was I was just going up here to Eldritch Battery. So now the mana costs are no longer an issue, but like I said, the defenses are very at the limit, I'm not sure. It is okay for mapping, it is okay for Shaper and the regular bosses, but regarding Uber Shaper, I don't like it. I would need more cold resist, I think. The block is nice, but yeah. So I'm not quite sure. Maybe I will try to get some improvements, but honestly I don't really see it happening. I have prepared some Ghastly Eye Jewels and I will craft them here and show you how I compare them in my path of building. I am not that familiar with video editing, but my plan is to maybe make a time lapse and also only show you once I have a result that I will use. But if I am not able to do a time lapse because I don't know how, then I would just cut the video and then show you how I compare them and the results I get. The reason why I would like to craft some more Ghastly Eye Jewels, even though I don't think that I can really realistically improve on the ones that I already got. Of course there's a chance and they can be better, but the chance for me to do so in solo self-found is very low. For me, I just want to corrupt the jewel to get corrupted blood immunity implicit on one of my jewels. I've already tried with maybe, I don't know, 30, maybe 40 jewels, and I did not get the corrupted blood immunity yet. And I will just try again, because I would like to do the Sirus fight. I haven't killed him yet. I was just waiting for the corrupted blood immunity jewel. So let's see if I get it. And until later. Okay, so I just finished crafting my jewels and I decided to only leave a very short part as an example of the jewel crafting process in the video and cut all the rest, because it's basically very boring and all the same. I would just craft, and if I thought that maybe something could be working or could be useful, I just hovered over it, pressed Ctrl C to copy it, then Alt tapped to my path of building, and then Ctrl V in here so I can compare my jewel to all my other jewels. And for me the target jewel was always the Whispering Leer Ghastly Eye Jewel, because this is currently my weakest jewel that I have. If I look at here at the Whispering Leer, it has some lightning resistance that currently I don't need as much because I'm overcapped by 31. So if I lose it, I would go down to 18, and that would still be fine. And the chance for my minions to taunt on hit is very comfortable to have, but not necessarily needed. And in the beginning I was very picky which jewels that I would keep, but later on I realized that I shouldn't be as picky, because what is my main goal? My main goal is to get the corrupted blood immunity implicit that has a chance to appear by corrupting jewels, but it has only a 1 in 60% chance to roll the corrupted blood immunity. So I may have to craft a lot of jewels to get the immunity. So then I thought, okay, this is the number one priority for me. What's the number two? The number two was that I wanted to stay above the 10 million Shaper DPS. Even though, once more, I have to point out that this number is a little bit inflated because it's counting with 20 active Raging Spirit currently attacking the target, which is not realistic in a regular combat. For my Shaper fight, you will see that it's mostly working, but not all the time. But for something with Uber Shaper, for example, where I have to dodge much more and he kills my minion much faster, sometimes I only have 4 or 5 Raging Spirits active. So this is very heavily dependent on the fight you're doing. Keep that in mind. But like I said in a previous video, I just keep it at 20, so I have a constant number and always the same number that I can compare. So I just see if it's an increase or decrease. So the 10 million is the second priority for me. Then the third one is that I want to increase either my damage or my survivability or my flexibility. And this is where these jewels come in. I put them to the side because I do not want to corrupt them. And if we look at this jewel right here, I will just copy it to Path of Building to show you. Okay, I actually forgot to switch the screen. So this jewel right here. It has some life, which is nice to give me some more HP. And if we compare it to the Whispering Leer, it would have significantly more DPS. But then again, what's 100,000 compared to 10 million? It's about 1%, so it's not that significant. But I would get some additional life. So this would be overall a nice improvement to have. Then I also got the second jewel right here. I will once more just copy it in Path of Building and now compare it with the same jewel. It would have a less DPS increase, a lower DPS increase than the previous jewel. I would still lose the lightning resistance, exactly like the previous jewel. I would not get any life, but what I would get would be some fire resistance. And like I stated at some point before, I'm currently at exactly 15 fire resistance over the cap, which is exactly enough for map modifiers that curse me with elemental weakness. But in order to get these 15%, I had to take this node right here, which gives me 2% chance to block spell damage, which I do not need, because these 2% are just overcap, and the 6% elemental resistance. But if I take this jewel now, then I would get the fire resistance. That would mean that I don't need this node right here anymore. I could just respec it and maybe spec something like this. So this would be 173 additional damage. So this 173 plus these 40,000, almost 41,000, would then in total give me more than the other jewel that in the first place looked better. So then I just have to decide, do I want the 80 something HP or do I want a little bit more damage? And what's nice about this jewel as well, it still has the 4% chance for my minion to taunt, and the Whispering Leer would otherwise be the only chance to taunt that I have on my minions, which would be lost then. So if I do not get Corrupted Blood immunity by corrupting these jewels, then I would most likely use just this one right here. And if we check this one just once more, I can compare it also to other jewels. And even though it would not be a huge improvement, it would be very, very minimal. But if I replace the Hollow Orb Ghastly Eye Jewel, which is currently socketed in my Darkness Enthroned, then I would get a little bit more life and a tiny bit more DPS. So this I will just do now. So the Hollow Orb is gone, and this one I'm taking now. Okay, I just changed them right here. So the Enthralling Stare is now in my Darkness Enthroned and the Hollow Orb is gone. And now I can once again switch to Path of Building and can check if the Hollow Orb maybe would be an improvement in another slot. This one is the Ghastly Eye Jewel that I will be replacing anyway. So not really. I mean, I could socket it in the other socket of my Darkness Enthroned to get a little bit more DPS, but I would lose some life, and that's just not something that I'm willing to do at the moment. So in this case, this Ghastly Eye Jewel can also be corrupted to see if I get maybe... So I just have another chance of getting Corrupted Blood Immunity. This I will just keep here for the moment. And now let's corrupt these 22 jewels and see what we get. Okay, let's see. Any implicits. Chance to avoid bleeding. Damage penetrates cold resistance. Chance to avoid being frozen. Global critical strike chance. Minion increased damage, so this jewel could now be an improvement. Okay, but unfortunately no Corrupted Blood Immunity. That's very sad. But let's check out this jewel now with the 5% Minion Damage implicit. And as we can see, it is still not an improvement, not even for the Whispering Leer cast earlier. So this jewel was really weak from the beginning. Okay, so now what I can do with these jewels is that I can sell them to the to an NPC, because 5 of these, 5 items of the same type give me another item of the same type. I can, but they all have to be the same rarity. So if I sell, in this case, 5 rare Ghastly Eye Jewels, then I would get 1 unidentified Ghastly Rare Jewel rare back. But maybe we can see it here. There is, yes, there it already is. Now you can see I would get 2 orbs, Orb of Chance. That's because at least 4 items now would have to have the same name. So I just removed this one. When I add it, I get 1 more. If I remove it, I get 1 less. So Morbid Sphere. There is some other Ghastly Eye Jewel called Morbid Sphere right here somewhere. Yes, this one right here. So if I do not want the Orb of Chance, but I want the Ghastly Eye Jewels, then I would always check the name and sell them in different patches to the vendor. And the Morbid Oculus as well. There must be a Morbid Oculus somewhere. This one right here. So I would just make sure that I do not sell these at the same time. So these 10 work, give me 2 new ones. I will just accept this and then sell another batch. Okay, there is another one with the same name. Okay, this works. I'll sell these. Okay, now I have 4 new unidentified. So a small chance that I maybe get something useful, but no such luck. But these are now not corrupted anymore, so they can be used for crafting later on. And I will just save my crafting tools right here. The important thing is, if you want to craft for the fire raging spirits, you should always check the item level. So if you press the key to show the advanced tooltips and look at the second line in the tooltip, the item level 83. 83 is the minimum item level a Ghastly Eye Jewel needs, so it can be able to roll tier 1 added fire damage. You can see this one right here is 82, so it's no good. That was good to check, because I do not want to craft on this one. But all the others are 83 and they are fine. So these ones, if I want, I can keep them. So if I have 2 additional corrupted Ghastly Eye Jewels, then I have 5 again, which I can sell for another uncorrupted one. And that's the 82 one. I'll just sell it, so I don't actually accidentally craft with it. Okay, that's pretty much it, but now I can replace my Leer with this one. I think it's this one, Whispering Leer, yes. Okay, and now if I check my defenses, yes, fire resistance, lightning resistance. If I remove the 6, then I'm still at 87. Now something's not quite right. I missed something. $106. Yes, 106. Did I miscalculate? I need 90 resistance, so I can still run elemental weakness maps without any issue. 90, that's 16 that I can lose. Oh, my bad. I was looking at the chaos resistance down here, but okay, it's 93, so that's working. And this one I will just keep. Maybe I will need it later if I need some lightning resistance once more. And now I will just do the changes in my path of building. So the first change that I made was the enthralling stair. I copy it once more, then switch to my path of building, copy it in here again, add to build, and then I exchange the hollow orb for the, I think it was enthralling stair, yes. This one right here. And the second jewel that I changed was this one. I think I have to remove it as well to copy it. And this one replaces the Whispering Leer. This one is called Ancient Prism. Okay. So I can now see my new resistances. The damage got a little bit improved. I just double check my life. So 5347. Switch back to path of building. 5347. So that's correct. And the resistances 103, 49, 94, and 93. And okay, here I have to calculate. Yes, but it looks okay. Good, that's what I wanted to see. And then we can check the tree. If I remove this one right here. Oh, that's something that I did not think about this, that my other resistances will be loaded then. So as you can see, there are quite some things to keep in mind if you try to change some things up. Now I'm not quite sure what I want to do, because I would like to still be able to run the elemental weakness maps. This would be just... I mean, I still could run them, but they would be more dangerous then, and I would die more often. Probably. Minus 3% resistance is not as bad of a deal. But on the other side, I'm not feeling too tanky currently, and I would like to have a little bit of a tankier character, because I would like to reach level 100, and the grind to level 99 was already quite, well, not really frustrating or annoying, because usually it was my own fault for taking some bad modifiers on maps or from the Eldritch Altars. It was my own decision, so I can't complain. But I was only looking at the benefits of the altars and not at the downsides. Because if I see a chance to drop Cartographer's Chisel, and I think, well, I need them to craft my maps, then I don't really care about the downsides, I just need the item. So... okay, I will think about it, but I hope you got a general overview how I personally do my jewels. I don't know if this is even a good way, maybe it's a bad way to craft jewels, but it got me so far and I'm happy with it. I hope you enjoyed the video. In the last part I will append the Shaper fight and also the failed Uber Shaper fight, so you can see me fail a couple of times. Have a good day. Goodbye.
when I'm ready and not before. I'm ready.